Good evening. We will call this meeting to order. It is 7 o'clock, straight up. This evening, I would like to ask Talon Vickers to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will now move on to the adoption of the agenda. Are there any changes or amendments to the agenda as presented to us this evening? Hearing none, then we will accept the agenda as given to us, and we will move on to commendations.
Working on it. It's going really, really well for me, so. Okay, Jennifer, you're on a smaller screen now, but I have you here. If you can you say something, Jennifer, for me?
Hi, can you hear me, Ryan?
Can you guys hear her okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, just stay right there. Don't move it. So, sorry, it's supposed to be up on the big screen, but it was not working, so I apologize on that. I would actually like to start the accommodations really quick. Is our first district employee of the month. This is the first one of the year, and it's actually a pretty special one for me. So I would actually like Crystal Dill. Would you please come up, please?
Is there a camera?
Yeah. So I have Crystal here, and this employee of the month is definitely well deserved, and her being recognized for everything she's done for our district. And I've actually asked some special guests today. One of them I have here on Zoom, and it's hard for everybody to see. I apologize, but Jennifer, would you take a second? And Crystal's standing right next to you, so she can see and hear you. And so it's your part. Go.
Yeah, you bet, and thanks for everybody's graciousness with technology. But Ryan connected with me, and I didn't hesitate at the chance to say, celebrate Crystal? Yes, a strong and enthusiastic yes. So my name is Jennifer Patterson. I serve as the Assistant Superintendent at ODE, and have had the great pleasure of working alongside the district pretty closely for the last 2 years now. And I can just say that Crystal has been consistent. She's been steady, reliable, and just very steadfast in her commitment to all things. Commitment first and foremost to serving children, which is such a beautiful value to hold at the center. And also her work ethic is like tireless. She just continues to show up. I have images of walking into the district office or out of it at all different times, and she's like there working hard, always with a beautiful attitude, a smile, and a disposition of like, this is the work, let's roll up this our sleeves together and get better together. And she's just she's like an ultimate learner, which I always say, like, good thing that we have lead learners in our districts, because after all, we're about teaching and learning in schools. And I can just say, Crystal, if she doesn't know the answer, she just asks, like, how do I get that? Or where can I find that out? We learn from her as well, so she's not only a learner, but she's a teacher, and she freely shares her own expertise. And she has an extraordinary and impeccable attention to detail and precision and follow through. So I can't say enough, Crystal, about the impression you've left for me professionally and personally. And I know I speak on behalf of the ODE team, and just saying you just have consistently been a through line of support and leadership, and very, very deserving of this award and recognition tonight. So deep gratitude for all the work you do and continue to do, and the district is certainly lucky to have your service and leadership.
Perfect.
you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Wow.
Don't go anywhere. I like that 7 shows in my life. I want to also ask Mr. Groding, would you like to say something, please?
Absolutely, absolutely. So for those of you, and you know, that she is the chief financial officer for the district. So she's the business manager. So when you're paying hundreds and hundreds of employees and serving thousands of students every year, all the way from how your meals are served, how your kids are picked up, she provides all the financial support for the district. Grants, when we're talking the disbursement of millions and millions of dollars to be dispersed, and the community and the school board especially wants those disbursements to be done the way that they should be. So as the chief financial officer for the district, Crystal, she provides the expertise and the work ethic necessary to ensure that our students, staff, and community and the school board are being served in the very best manner possible, in accordance with all of the policies, requirements, and laws that govern public schools. Over the past year, Crystal's ability to work with the Department of Education, auditors, and other stakeholders has been instrumental in moving the school district forward to reinstill the trust that is necessary for parents, students, the school board, staff members to have in the school district. Crystal's desire to do the right thing, even though it may be the most difficult thing, is not easy to do. And she has gained the appreciation and respect from all of the stakeholders that she serves. And while Crystal is always focused on all the financial rules, regulations, and laws, I think one of her best attributes is trying to figure out how to get to yes. It's easy to say no to people a lot of times, but she will get to yes, and she will get to it working within the rules and regulations. If it's, number one, the right thing to do for students, the right thing to do for staff. So I worked with a lot of business managers in my time, and a lot of them just say no, 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 no. But she truly tries to understand the teaching and learning aspect of her job, and then figuring out, is this a good thing for students? Okay, how can we work within the rules and laws and regulations to get there and do that? And she does a great job. Best business manager I've seen in really trying to get to yes. And then finally, in just the short time I've been back here, Crystal's always willing to pitch in. And it's not, doesn't always have to be in the business world. Whether it's volunteering to make sure that the money's in the gates or the concession stands are running okay, and she does that well. She also has her better half here, husband here. I know she has a child, so she's living the public school, not only as an employee, but as a parent. So anyway, thank you for making a difference for the children and families and our school board and the Nissa School District.
Thank you, Mr. Groding. You're not gonna next, don't worry. Mr. Larry, would you? Don't worry, you all get a chance. So I hope you're ready. No.
Well, I think I heard consistency, sense of responsibility, and I would certainly echo those. But probably personally, more particular for me has been, this has been a completely new position for me, so couldn't help but feeling a little bit lonely from time to time. But you definitely made me feel less lonely. You were somebody I could come and talk to, and really been probably the closest thing to a mentor I've had in this position, so I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Mrs. Mornaka.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
I don't very often stand up to talk, but I am tonight. You've all heard about Crystal's abilities as a business manager. I want to talk to you about Crystal Rideau as an artist.
Oh gosh.
Don't get scared, Crystal.
Oh boy.
An artist? Well, what does that have to do with being business manager with numbers? a true numbers person takes numbers and turns them into pictures that we can all understand. And this is what Crystal has done, whether it's been $10 or $10 million. She has taken that green stuff and turned it into a picture that is a picture of our 1,200 students, our 200 staff members, our admin, our entire district. You parents, you do not understand how talented Crystal is to do this. And I truly appreciate it. I believe that we all truly appreciate it. It's much easier to understand a picture. We've all heard a picture's worth 1,000 words. And this is what Crystal does. And as such, we get scared of plain brown bags, you know. But because we have started this new district employee, I found a traveling trophy.
Oh,
This is a bulldog bowl. It's the right colors, blue and white. And if you look at these little paw prints, you'll see they're actually a smiling bulldog. This bulldog bowl is loaded with lifesavers because, Crystal, that's what you have been so many times, has been a lifesaver for us.
thank you.
Now it's my turn. And I mean, and you guys have heard all these things. And I can tell you over the past 6 years, Mrs. Rideau has demonstrated unparalleled commitment for our district. What she has done, we cannot say enough. And this is just a small token of thank you for everything you do. And I won't read all of this because a lot of it was said, but I need you to know that I want to say thank you for your hard work, your dedication, your friendship, and the impact you've made on our district every single day. Everybody is here because of the work that you do. And so please join me in thanking Crystal Doe, our District Employee of the Month, for everything that she does. Don't forget your pen.
Oh.
Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you, Ryan. Take care.
You too.
Bye, thanks.
Okay, that's a hard act to follow.
Yeah.
But we will now move on to our commendations for our students. Whoever wants to start.
All right, so for the high school, Jenny, can you come on up? Jenny Trujillo is our high school. All right, here's your medal. Jenny's pretty awesome. If you don't know her, you should try to get to know her. I have a long list of teachers who have had some good words to say. So Mrs. Vargas said, I would like to nominate Jenny Trujillo. I've never seen her be unkind to anyone, and she has been standing up to bullying and putting up signs such as be a homie, not a bully, and by speaking out when she sees bullying happen. She wants to make the school a better place for everyone in it, both by being kind and being part of the groups such as Sources of Strength. She has worked hard to overcome a lot of challenges and has a lot of responsibilities outside of school, but is still here almost every day working hard, doing her best. I want to second Melissa's nomination. I love Jenny. She's an inspiration to everyone. She has a lot on her plate, but still excels in everything she tries. I love her anti-bullying signs, and that was from Kendall Lee Gardner. Count me in for Jenny, one of my favorite humans, and genuinely a special person. I am her coach, but her willingness to be honest, caring, hardworking, and humble on the softball field sure sounds like it also occurs within the walls of the school. Great choice, and that's from Tracy Cleaver. A couple more here. I agree with everyone else. Jenny is awesome. Jenny is someone I have. Jenny, she is kind and fun to be around. Jenny is always willing to be there for someone in need. I love how she worked to cheer up a student after lunch one day. She was being goofy and made the other students smile. Jenny is a perfect choice for Student of the Month, and that was from Stephanie Winkle. And as much as I hate to admit, Jenny is one of my favorite people. Don't let that get around. Okay. She
has some jokes, but is always willing to help, and I can trust her to get things done and motivate others to help as well. She always can put a smile on someone's face, and her laugh is contagious. The way she can be positive and involved after what she goes through is inspirational. Jenny Trujillo, Student of the Month, has a great ring to it, and that's from Veronica Bennett, and I agree. So, Jenny Trujillo.
Jenny, I didn't give you your certificate.
I'll give him the award. The second time.
Yeah. All right, the middle school has Christian Martinez. Thank you. All right, Mr. Draper says, I just want to let you all know how absolutely awesome Christian is. Not only is he an amazing student who always does his best and sets a good example for others, but he is also just a great kid. He's so fun to have in class, and I look forward to seeing him every day. I don't think I've noticed a single day this year where Christian hasn't come to my classroom smiling and happy. Along with this, he is so intelligent and hardworking. He always goes above and beyond with his assignments, and it's obvious that he loves learning. Christian, you truly are one of the best students I have ever taught, and I'm so glad that we were able to vote for you as Student of the Month. You definitely deserve the award. Mr. Egan, I have Christian Martinez in both the high school band and the high school jazz band. He, along with a few other 8th graders, were invited to play with the high school band at the start of the year, and he has not disappointed. Christian has been an excellent student, showing up to the after-school events, arriving on time for jazz band consistently, a 0-hour class, and has provided a great attitude during the whole time. He treats the students around with respect and has been making friends with some of the older kids in band, showing a great level of maturity along the way. We're very lucky to have a student like Christian in the NISA band program. Next one, Mr. Moyes. Christian is an amazing student. He is a focused and active learner. Christian is always willing to share his ideas and help those around him. 11 out of 10 on the awesome kid list. All right, and I'll read this last one. Mr. Long says, Christian personally handmade water bottle holders for Mr. DeLong and I. Christian is helpful, mature, and has a great attitude. I really enjoy having him in class. I can always count on his effort and pleasant demeanor. Christian is certainly a good example of what it means to be a bulldog. Congratulations, Christian. Well deserved.
If you don't know, it's the second time being Student of the Month in its middle.
Third.
Third time? For middle school?
No, middle school.
Middle school's twice. Come on. Twice. I can remember that part.
I'm going to have Lulu Carrascal Ramirez come on up. Oh, wait, come here. I have to say good things about you first. Lulu has always been a good student, but there has been an awesome change with her. She is so eager to learn, and you can see it with how focused she is in class and how she works hard to do her very best on every task. Not only is she a great student, but she is kind to others and is always willing to help, and she always has a smile. From Mrs. Deanda. Congratulations. Our 3rd through 5th student of the month is Nicole Kessler. Come stand here so I can say good things about you. Nicole Kessler is a wonderful example to our entire class. Nicole is a model citizen, superb learner, and she constantly works to be better. She endeavors each day to be kind and thoughtful to others. She is trustworthy and shows great integrity each day. We love to have her come to class and share her thoughtful insights on our new learning. She is brave and willing to try tasks that are challenging. She sets high goals for herself and works with patience to achieve everything that she can each day. She has mastered an immense amount of skills in her short career at the elementary school. She's an amazing model to us all. She is a delight to have in our class, Mrs. Barnhart. Congratulations. We have the privilege to have the staff members of the month this month. Could I please have Courtney Berry come up? When I think of Courtney, the words dedication, perseverance, professionalism always come to mind. Courtney never half does anything. She is incredibly dedicated to seeing our students succeed and pours her time, heart, and smarts into making sure our reading interventions are planned and delivered effectively. She shows an impressive amount of knowledge about the science of reading, and when she doesn't know, she asks questions and perseveres to find answers. Courtney is always warm to greet. She is dependable to be present and engaged. She shows a true professional attitude toward the position of instructional assistant. Collaborating with Courtney is a joy, and I am so grateful for all that she does for us teachers and our students. She is a big reason why we see leaps and bounds of progress in our students each year. That was from Mrs. Olson. Courtney is always the first to arrive and the last to leave. She always finds things to do that makes life easier for the teachers and better for the students. We would be lost without her, Mrs. Peterson. Mrs. Berry is amazing. She makes a difference in the life of each child that she works with. She has high expectations for behavior and achievement and helps students meet those expectations. Courtney goes beyond the mark and puts in time and effort beyond school hours to benefit the students that she works with. She is organized, has great ideas, and the drive to bring them to fruition. I am so grateful to be working with Courtney this year. That was from Mrs. Espelin. Congratulations. Our second employee of the month is Lorena Mesa. Lorena has been the art teacher this year in our special classes. She sees each group of students for 20 minutes and has been able to create some fun, amazing, and very creative art projects with our students. The art is displayed in the case right inside of our school and throughout our school building. Lorena, thank you for enriching our students' education with your dedication to your art class. That was from me. And then Lorena could win this award every month. She is dependable and efficient with her work and willing to take on roles that others may not want. With Miss Mesa teaching the art class, we have lost a valuable IA in the classrooms, but more students get to know and benefit from the amazing teacher that she is. Lorena is compassionate toward the students and staff, and the students respect her because they feel valued by her. Lorena is the Miss Honey of NES, and we are very blessed to have her in our building. That's from Mrs. Moody. Lorena is an amazing, talented, gracious teacher. Sharing her talents and knowledge with the students is a wonderful gift. We are so lucky to have her in our building. Mrs. Peterson. And then Miss Mesa is such a great art teacher. The kids all love her class. I don't think that they realize how much they are learning about the principles of art as they create daily. I love that she takes the time to showcase and highlight the children and their artwork each week. Mrs. Espelin, congratulations.
Need some water?
No, I'm good. And then we also have the honor to have our volunteer of the month this month, and I'd like to ask Grandma Lastly, Betty Lastly, to come up. Betty Lastly, Grandma Lastly to the kids, is a foster grandparent that comes to our school multiple times each week to work with our students on reading and math skills. Her dedication and support of our students has made a big difference in our students' experiences at Nissa Elementary School. Thank you for caring about and working with our students, Grandma Lastly. That was from me. Grandma Lastly volunteered in my classroom last year and was a dependable addition to any kindergarten classroom. On the rare occasion that she was gone, she made a point to call me directly to give me a heads up. I appreciate her punctuality, her patience, her kindness that she brings to our building. We are lucky to have her as a volunteer. That's from Mrs. Moody. Grandma Lastly is so committed to our young readers here in NISA. She is so flexible and works with many groups of students in whatever reading activity the teacher asks. She gives a personal one-on-one reading experience that some of our children would not get any other way. We are very blessed to have Grandma Lastly in our school. And that was from Mrs. Espelin. Congratulations.
Okay, we will now move on to, oh, yes. Pictures will be out in the hall. So those of you who received awards, you can,
You and your families can please go out in the
the
hall
hall
for a picture.
and have your pictures taken. Congratulations to all of you. Okay.
Mrs. Rideau.
Yes.
You need your picture taken?
Yes.
The next, I don't want to miss the next part. So sorry, it's not getting my picture taken. Darn it.
I'll draw it in there for you. Don't worry about it. I'm really gonna stick people.
I worked too hard for this next part.
Okay, we will now move on to visiting patrons and delegations. Chelsea Hewitt, the Connected Accountant, our professional account group. Thank you for coming
You're
tonight.
welcome. I really thought everybody was here to hear my presentation, but
Yeah.
apparently that was not the case. Well, thank you guys for having me. My name is Chelsea Hewitt. I work with Connected Professional Accountants, a CPA firm in LeGrand, Oregon. This is obviously the first year that we've done your financial statement audit, so I appreciate you guys having me to come over. I've spoke with a couple of your board members already, and obviously worked very closely with your staff. I don't need to echo everything that everybody said about Crystal, but she did do an amazing job during the audit process and your entire business department. They have full-time jobs when we're not here, and we came with 5 staff people at 2 different times this year, so we're a lot, and so we very much appreciate that they kind of drop everything that they're doing and help us during those times, so big thank you to them. I'm going to kind of do a financial statement overview of the documents that you guys have in front of you. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to interrupt and ask, or we can do some questions at the end. I know that you guys probably don't read these front to back, which I don't expect you to, but I'll kind of give you some highlights and try not to bore everybody. Obviously, when you are a school district in the state of Oregon, you're required to have a financial statement audit if your expenditures exceed $500,000, and a federal compliance audit if your federal expenditures exceed $750,000. So really, while we're here, we're doing both of those audits. So we'll give you kind of the results of both of those. The first thing that you guys should have in front of you is a separate letter, and it should be outside of the bound document. This is what we refer to as our letter to governance. This is really directed directly at the board. Obviously, we work with your staff very closely, but at the end of the day, we are working for you, and we are required to report certain things to you. In this letter, a lot of it is kind of boilerplate verbiage, but you will notice that there are estimates that go into the financial statement preparation process. If we have any disagreements with management, we are required to disclose them to you. Obviously, I wouldn't do that now. You would have already been told if we had any disagreements. We did not have any issues. We did not know of you guys contacting any other auditors. And the other main point of this is to show any adjusting journal entries that we had. So that's going to be the attached page to this letter. I know that when I sit on boards in your guys' shoes, that's really the bulk of what I'm looking at. How many adjustments are the auditors coming in and making at the end of the year? Because what that means is that the financial data that you're getting during the year, if we're coming in and making a lot of adjustments, you can't rely on that data to make your decisions. Very happy to report that we hardly had any adjustments. 3 of the 4 are made every year by your auditors, sheerly out of convenience. They have to do with adjusting your property tax revenue and then your prepaids. The only other financial statement adjustment that we made had to do with recording a payable and a receivable. It looks like a pretty big number, but really the net effect on your financial statements were 0 because it was a payable and a receivable. So very positive there, definitely. I have some that this is pages long and we have to staple it together. So very big kudos to Crystal for that. Beyond that, the next thing that you guys have is this actual bound document. So this is going to be the bulk of the results of our audit. The first 3 pages, so starting on page 3, or excuse me, starting on page 1, is really our independent auditor's report. They changed the kind of format of this last year or the year before, and I actually think that it's a better presentation because you get to the bulk of it quicker. It's 3 or 4 pages long, but right off the bat, you can see exactly what our opinion was. So we have an unmodified clean opinion, which is the best opinion that you can receive on your financial statements. The only thing that we have a qualified opinion for is because the district does not report a governmental accounting standard that's referred to GASB 75 for post-employment benefits. And I've spoken with your board chair and Crystal that if you guys would like to get that out of your report, then it would be paying for an actuarial valuation, and we could get that part removed. So it's just a governmental accounting standard that you are technically required to follow, and if you do not follow it, we have to disclose that it's not reported correctly. That's it. Everything else, clean opinion on your financial statements, which really means that we believe that they are materially stated. Beyond that, starting on page 4 is going to be what we refer to as the management's discussion and analysis. This is pages 4 to 7. If you guys don't read anything else in this packet, these are the 4 pages I would read. This is really prepared directly from your staff. This has a condensed version of the financial statements. You've got some smaller, so it's a little bit easier to take in. Obviously, you're going to get the bulk of it behind here, but this does give you a very good overview of exactly what's going on within the district and some financial highlights for the future also, because we're always reporting after the fact, obviously. So we're reporting on your fiscal year that ended in June of 2023. Now you're already 6 months into your next fiscal year. So that's a good place to look for any sort of economic factors in the future also. After that is going to be your actual financial statements. So I'm just going to highlight a couple things here. Starting on page 8 and 9 is your government-wide financial statements. You'll see on page 9, the main thing to point out here is that your net position actually increased by just over $3 million. So that's a very positive increase from the prior year. Beyond that, the next kind of highlight that I would point out would be on page 12, and that's going to be your actual fund statements. So that's going to show your general fund, your special revenue fund, debt service and capital projects fund. Again, very positive increase here, $530,000 compared to the prior year. Your general fund increased by almost $550,000, so very positive. Following that, the notes to the financial statements start on page 14. This is really just going to give some more verbiage to the numbers if you guys kind of want to dig into it. There was a new accounting principle that you guys did adopt this year. It was referred to as GASB 96, and it had to do with subscription-based technology arrangements. It made a prior period adjustment of about $18,000, so you'll see that, and it also discloses the different agreements throughout the notes here. Other than that, there shouldn't be any major changes. You guys didn't have any new debt or anything that was really earth-shattering with throughout there. So, but that is a good place to look for some verbiage. Beyond that, kind of getting toward the back of the packet here, page 52 is going to be our Oregon auditor's report. So we're actually required to report separately to the state of Oregon about any issues. The things that they're looking for is deposits, obviously, with public funds, indebtedness, budgeting, so adopting your budgets properly, insurance and fidelity bonds. There's a whole list that you can see there that they want us to test and report on. There are 2 areas that we found exceptions when we did this testing. They were not big areas, one of which was the district did not file a list of public improvements. That actually has to be filed with the Commissioner of Bureau of Labor each year if you have planned improvements. Even if you don't perform the improvements, if you just budget them, you have to file that form. So that's a pretty easy fix going forward, to just file that with the budgets. The other kind of finding, for lack of a better term here, that we have is that when we were testing the ADM, average daily membership, we found that the 10-day drop rule did not have adequate controls around it. So what that is, for your guys' information, is that if a student misses more than 10 consecutive days, you're required to drop them from your rolls, so you're not receiving ADM money for them. We have to come in and do a sample of all of your students that have more than 10 consecutive absences and make sure they're being dropped properly. We did find that there were students that were not being dropped, which means that your ADM could be higher than what it technically should be. We have met with your staff regarding this. It looked like the high school did have better controls over that. They were sending out automatic letters, kind of a tickler system. We have met with everybody involved, and I think that going forward, and your staff can speak to this obviously better than I can, but I think that those controls have been greatly strengthened. And so we hope not to see that finding in the future, but we will always test that again next year. Any questions on the Oregon report so far? Beyond that, kind of getting again in the back of your packet here, starting on page 54, is going to be what I refer to as that separate financial compliance audit. So this is where we're testing your federal expenditures. You had about $5.6 million of federal money that was expended during the school year that we were auditing. Of that, we actually tested 3 of the programs that you received as major programs, which means that we went in and tested those more thoroughly. The 3 programs you will see listed on page 60, and those were the Title 1C, so your migrant education, the COVID-19 Education Stabilization Fund, and then your child nutrition cluster. You will also see on page 60 that we had unmodified opinions on all 3 of those. So we did not find any issues, no findings with any of your federal compliance. And like I said, we did test those 3 different programs. So very positive there that we did not come up with anything. Again, it's kind of confusing. Unmodified is the best opinion that you can receive. They don't make it quite as easy, but that's the accounting terms, that unmodified is what you would like to receive there. The only other thing that you're going to find kind of on this page is another finding that we technically have to report to you, and that is for our assistance in drafting this financial statement packet. And so the rules state that if we are helping draft this, then we are technically providing a management function, which as auditors we are not allowed to do. The only way that you could get out of this is if you had somebody on staff that could prepare this entire document, including all of the new governmental accounting standards and disclosures, which is very hard to find. I would say that 90% of our clients have this finding in there. We also state that while we are part of your management function for this, Crystal and your business staff obviously reviews this very closely, signs a letter of representation, and takes responsibility for it. I will tell you that she does a very thorough review and is able to go through and ask questions on any of our numbers that we've come up with. So you will also see in that we do not recommend any changes to that process. Like I said, the only way you could get around that is if you drafted these internally, or if you hired a separate auditor to come in and draft these and then hired us to audit them. That is not cost effective for the district. We don't suggest that you do that. There's going to be no repercussions of having that disclosure in there, but we are required to disclose to you that we do help draft this packet that you have. That is really the bulk of kind of a condensed version of the 65-page document. Again, thank you guys for contracting with our firm. Does anybody have any questions for me? Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll now move on to the elementary robotics report. Ms. Lewis?
Hi, I'm Mrs. Lewis, for those of you that don't know me. I teach 3rd grade at the elementary after-school program. We've been doing 4th and 5th grade robotics. In the robotics process, they had to do an innovation project, and we had a competition. on the 12th, sounds right? I'm sorry, it's whirlwind right now. And so I have 4th graders and 5th graders. I want them to show you their innovation project and their awards, and let them take it there. So let's start off with 4th grade innovation. Innovation project. Yep. It's okay.
For an innovation project, we did the problem over seasoning. We're trying to solve that. We have Bryn made some models, but she is not here. So just had them on that.
So they had a problem that they had to solve, and it was related to a hobby. So the 4th grade picked over seasoning for cooking because they felt a lot of them, when they were collaborating, discussed that they ruined a lot of meals for their families by over seasoning. And so they created a thing that goes on top that stops it from over seasoning. It has a pre-measured amount with a trigger. So that's what they started with that. And then what was your guys' award?
And we got the values.
Okay. Do you guys remember what core values was for?
Working together.
Yeah, they work better together as a team than on their own. And that was really the one that we were striving for because we're rookies this year, and so learning how to work together was the important one for us. Okay, you guys, let me put some pictures through. Okay, 5th grade, why don't you share your innovation project?
This is our model of the innovation project. When the poster is visible, you can see it's what we call easy easel. Inside of it, we hold canvas things that can hold a canvas. We got a model from bubblegum wrappers. And on the bottom, these could become leather straps that holds a canvas. And then on the sides, you could see that there's enough room to hold like crayons and paintings. The award that we got was for our innovation project. This is our innovation project, and yeah.
Great.
We also got an invitation to state for our 5th grade, so we will be going to state on January 13th.
And I'd like to say just how proud of our Bulldog team was going. That was the first Lego robotics competition I've ever been, but they were cheering everybody on, and they just made me proud to be from NISA. Like, it was just amazing. So I want to tell you guys, thank you for representing NISA so well. I look forward to seeing you guys at state. All right?
Yeah.
Excellent.
And then one more thing. They did the national anthem to start us off, and our kids sang it all. Nobody else participated. It was 4th and 5th graders that represented really well on that. So,
Great.
Thank you, Mrs. Lewis.
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting. We'll move on to the FFA Nationals.
Now the champions, apparently.
This is great. This is exciting.
Well, I promise we're not as cool as those guys. Those innovation projects are pretty cool looking. I just want to introduce us. My name is Eliana Monk. These are my teammates, fellow officers. This is Brian Sanchez and Juliana Bounds. And we were asked to come out today to kind of describe and explain what we did at our nationals trip this last month. We got to travel back to Indianapolis, Indiana for the 96th annual FFA convention. And so for those of you who aren't familiar with FFA, it's a collection of students with like-minded individuals who work on self-reflection, building a community inside and out of agriculture, student leadership, and personal development. The NISA FFA chapter is pleased to be home to over 100 members here at our school with different countless opportunities like welding and CTE certifications, greenhouse experiences, and student leadership classes. So the NISA FFA chapter celebrated a huge success at the national convention this past month, going all the way back to spring break. We had a team of 5 individuals who took first in the state in the Farm Business Management CTE or Career Development, or CDE, Career Development event. This competition helps students learn business skills and apply them with economic principles to agricultural businesses. These skills are represented by students demonstrating their ability to analyze business management information, apply economic principles and concepts, evaluate business management decisions, and work together cooperatively as a team. Winning FBM at the state level is one of our longest lasting traditions here in the NISA FFA program. We have brought home the blue first place banner 14 times consecutively. And so to continue our legacy, because that's really, really important to us, we sent 5 of our best minds to the national level. And I'm proud to say that they came back with the bronze award. And so we're really optimistic about this upcoming year, where we will have the opportunity to send another team to the state level and then hopefully to the national level as well. While at nationals, chapter members had the opportunity to grow as individuals through student leadership workshops, mass sessions with 60,000 people matching in the jackets. And it was here we got to listen to retiring addresses of their national officers, motivational speakers, and meet with other students from all 50 states and territories. We shopped until we dropped at the FFA Megastore, met with over 100 ag colleges, and toured a career fair geared towards ag students. Many late nights spent with friends made our trip one to remember. They say when in Rome, but when in Indianapolis, you have to go to the Indy 500, because who doesn't, you know? So we got to go. We didn't get to see any races that day, but we got to tour the grounds and a museum. We got to visit the Churchill Downs racetrack, which is where the Kentucky Derby is held. And we also got to go to the Louisville Slugger factory. All of these experiences are not ones that we take lightly, and we're very thankful for the opportunities that we've had presented to us, the connections we've made, the lifelong friendships, and the stronger leaders that we've got to become. As we look to the future, there is lots of reason for excitement. Just this past week, 6 of our members went to the job interview competition over in Vail with many high-scoring individuals. We had a beginner take 2nd place and an advanced take 5th place. We're really, really proud of them. In January, we'll have students competing in competitions like public speaking, district level officer positions, creed reciting, and that farm business management, when hopefully in March we'll have the opportunity to send them to the state level to compete as well. We also have 2 students from our home chapter who hope to have state level officer positions, and they'll be running in March as well. While we're here, a little shameless plug, we would like to invite you all to our annual banquet. It's going to be the 2nd week in April. It seems really far away, but trust we're hard at work, filling our program of activities, getting those donations so we can send kids to nationals again this next year. We hope to see all of you there, and we thank you again for your time and support of our chapter.
Congratulations. Thank you. It's impressive.
Thank you so much. And be sure to send us a reminder about your banquet when it gets closer.
We'll do that. We will. We'll send you invitations.
Thank you. Be very nice. We'll move on to student representatives.
I'm a little old to be a student, but I'm going to step up during this time.
Thank you, Mr. Flavor.
Luke, you're never too old to be a
Okay,
student.
I'm going to represent the middle school this month, and a couple things I want to acknowledge. Did our annual turkey trot put on by our PE staff, so had some parents volunteer for that. The one that I really want to make sure we cover is our middle school WIC boys wrestling team. Our wrestling team, the girls can also compete. We had 2 girls compete in the event also. Placed first. So that's only the 2nd WIC championship we've won since COVID, so in any sport. So it's nice to see that that's coming up. I'd like to acknowledge the kids that did well in it. Diesel Johnson got 1st. Isaiah De Leon got 3rd. Pedro Santana got 3rd. Adon De La Fuente got 1st. Omar Sotelo got 3rd. Aiden Baker got 2nd. Levi Thompson was 1st. Miles Agresar was 2nd. Nicholas Montez was 4th. Cristo Ramirez was 4th. Diego Campazano was a champ. Marley Escobedo was 4th. And Rafael Gutierrez was 1st. So pretty awesome. They finished 2nd and 3rd the last 2 years, so it was nice for them to be able to do that. We're also having reindeer games. We call it reindeer games that have been at the middle school, and they're a canned food drive effort. Like, for example, kids had to bring a canned food that goes to help them to hope to be in a rock, paper, scissors contest and win prizes for your class and also individual prizes. This week is the airplane toss,
where they buy airplanes with canned food and they get to throw for prizes. And then it's Ride the Wave next week, right, where they do a relay race as a team, as a class on a table to get across the gym, and the class that wins will get a piece of prize for that. So a couple things at the just finished up girls basketball, and then we'll start boys basketball starting in January. So we'll go from there.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That's awesome.
Thanks for your time.
Apparently, we need to add in a new trophy case for us. If we just keep winning, I just love it. So
Are you putting that into? Are you gonna-
yeah, I'll have to put it in there. I read on the audit report improvements, so it'll be in there this time. Yeah.
Is there any public comment this evening? Hearing none, we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
Perfect. So I'd like to present my superintendent's report for the December board meeting, provide some updates on some board initiatives, and I'd like to start off with the 1C update like we usually do, but we have some special guests here that is extremely important that need to be come up and recognized by not only our board but our community. And so I'm going to ask Mr. Grotting and Mr. Murray come up and kind of take their part and have their special guests. So,
Sure. So we will start off by introducing our migrant PAC officers, the Parent Advisory Committee. And, you know, the Parent Advisory Committee's biggest role, kind of like similar to yours, is to represent the wishes of the students and the parents. In yours, in the community, the migrant PAC officers to represent the migrant families and the migrant parents. We have about 250 students currently in the migrant program, and so these officers represent them and perform an important function that way. We meet monthly, for the most part, to discuss the migrant program and maintain updates with them. So let me introduce them. Our president, Lorena Ramirez. Our vice president, Fabiola Valdez. And our secretary, Gregoria Villegas.
Hi. Hi. Hello. Thank you. Hi. Thank you. Hi.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah. So we will share the report here. I think for me, what I'd like to fill you in on is the next times that ODE is coming, because they've been coming through the year. They came in September, came in November, really for supportive visits. They will be returning in January. And that's Charlie Bauer and Jennifer Patterson, who you saw on the screen here this evening. And really that's again, a supportive visit, checking on the different aspects of our program and how we're doing with planning for their February visit at the end of February, and that will be actually what you'd call more of an auditing visit, where they will actually grade the program based on certain parameters that we'll be fully aware of. So I have every confidence at this point with the staff that we have that we will get through that strongly and be able to move on and hopefully out from under the shadow that kind of has been plaguing the program for a while. So.
Just real quick, I think it's important for the board to know that now, I think last time we talked to you, all but one of our federal programs have been submitted and accepted. Now, all of our federal programs have been submitted to the Department of Education and approved and accepted. So big shout out to staff under Mr. Murray's guidance. And then also just talking about the three ladies here that are our PAC officers. I think before, it was kind of like the district was trying to run these PAC meetings, but these three ladies will be going through trainings, and they'll actually be running the meetings. And just like Chair Moronaka and some of you have already been chairs, it will be their meeting. They will be running the meetings, and it will be them to help determine agendas. Working with Mr. Murray will be a support, and the staff will be a support, but this will be their agenda, this will be their meetings, and so I think that's really exciting. I think that empowers these are migrant parents and coming along. I know Maribel has been, Mr. Ramirez has been at these meetings, and she's been a part of that and really involved, so that's exciting. As far as you know, the Department of Justice, and we are, on a heightened sense of scrutiny right now with the Department of Education, and once again, I think that's going extremely well. I think it's going as well as it could be, and I think staff members, all the way from our business department to our migrant staff to Superintendent Hawkins and down to our building principals, we're really starting to look at what are the rules and regulations and the best practices in guiding our migrant program specifically, and they're just doing a great job. I see some of our migrant staff here, and they have really been pointed out by the Department of Education, their efforts in moving the program forward. So I believe, I was on with Mrs. Patterson today, right before the board meeting. I believe our forensic audit will begin right after the new year, and we'll start going forward with that. And I think we're finally starting to climb out of this hole, and I think it's through the hard work of a lot of people. So support the board's support in supporting our staff and getting there. So thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate your hard work.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for the update. And I think it's important that we honor the work of our PAC advisory committee, the parents, what they do, just like you, their sacrifice for our kids and doing whatever it takes for our community. So I just want to tell you guys thank you for everything you do for our community. A couple other updates on there. The district has started using what's called Gov Deals. And essentially this is a place for when we have equipment that is no longer useful or we want to kind of pass it on. But it's a fair bidding process. It's actually free for the district, that we're able to post things on there and give it to the public. And so we actually recently just sold one of our buses that we no longer use, and actually it was $5,850 we just got from that. But I just kind of want to get that out there. Is just that's how we're going to start kind of posting that equipment to make sure it is a fair bidding process for everybody. And I think the person who bought this bus was actually from San Diego, which is crazy. And so, but we also put it on the Argus as well, and so just so local people can know. But I wanted to kind of the public know that, like, we have things, and that's where we're going to put them. And the next part of it, in 2021, the Senate passed Bill 732, mandating what we call the Educational Equity Advisory Committees for districts. And so basically the committee is going to provide advice and perspective to the board about, with kind of that, we call them unrepresented groups, or, let's see, what's a good way to put this? I had it written down, but I want to do it, underserved community. And this was actually something that we're required to have in place by 2025. And so Mr. Grotting has taken the initiative and has been working with ODE, and we actually plan on getting this installed for the board and the community by 2024, have it up and running, which is amazing, right? They say, hey, you guys have till this time, but the board has really said, hey, this is something that is important to us, and so we're moving forward with that. He's been working on getting an application out, and so essentially he'll get me the application, and I'll present the board with 7 or 8 members, 6 or 7. Is that about right?
8 to 10. Probably.
8 to 10, and then you guys get to kind of choose on that, and that will be a committee to not only help direct you guys, but also myself on those things. And so I'm actually really proud of this group getting up and going, and so I want to thank Mr. Grotting for all his work on getting this at kind of the forefront. And when we think about that, is most districts are waiting until 2025, but we're kind of charging ahead, leading that. So I want to thank Mr. Grotting for your work on that, sir. So thank you. The next thing is, I talked to our school nurse, Andra DeWitt, and she has submitted a request to equip all of our 7 through 12 buildings with Narcan boxes. And so in there, there's 3 kind of, what are they called? Dispensers of Narcan with not only the box, but also the posters of how to use that, and they'll be in all of our 7 through 12 buildings. And so we're looking at both the gym in there, because we know our events and things like that, to have it on board, how important that is. And so I just, it's important that we look for the well-being of our students, staff, and community at these events, because as we know, it's something that is out there all the time, and I know the chief can attest to that, it is out in our community. And so we also have Help Them to Hope this week coming on Thursday, and so a lot of our administrators, some students will be going to Payette, right? Payette, and picking up Christmas presents and food for some of our less fortunate families. And actually, it's one of my favorite events all year. And we drive around and we're able to kind of deliver that, and especially with parents that aren't able to provide those things. And it's an amazing event. It changed, I mean, my perspective on things, but I know it's amazing for our students. And so that is on Thursday. You don't see that in there, but I have that in there. So anyway, those are just some things that I wanted to update you on your initiatives going forward, saying these things are important, we want to hear about them, and the work we're doing. And so that's my report.
Are we providing education on how to use the Narcan to our staff members?
Yes, and so that's something we're working on, having some better safe school one, because it's not the traditional Narcan. It's kind of it's a little different, kind of a nasal spray. It looks different. And but that's something we're working on. But like I said, there will be posters and those things by it, because it's not always a staff member that's going to be there. And so those come with the kits.
Are there any other questions for the superintendent on the superintendent's report?
Thank you.
Okay, Crystal, financial report.
Okay, so tonight you have financials for July 1st to November 30th of this year. I want to be really exciting like everyone else, but it's numbers. So I'm going to say we had a fabulous month of collecting taxes, our highest month of the year. And we've actually collected over 90% of what we've budgeted for taxes. So it was a good month of revenue. Revenue brought in with everything a little over 2.3 million. Our expenditures were 1.6. So that brought our cumulative balance a little over 3.3 million. And we just carry that along until June when we spend it all. So highlights, November consisted of 2 payrolls. We had our regular payroll, and then we paid out extra duty contracts. So that's why the payroll number looks a little larger than October, because we had multiple payrolls. We received a nice deposit in our middle school LGIP account of taxes as well. That gave us enough money to pay our debt service payment. So it's already the 12th of the month, or 11th. I don't know what day it is, but I've already paid that. So our next payment for our bond is in June. So let's see. Early Head Start operating statement. We ended the month just a little over $6,000 in our ending fund balance for Early Head Start. Food service. We've brought in a little over $409,000 for the year. Our expenditures have been about $390,000, so their ending fund balance is, it actually jumped from last month to this month. We're back up to $18,650. I'm going to credit the management team and the staff of doing really well with menus and not purchasing as much. Approval of the bills. This is everything that's gone out of our bank account from the 3rd of November. I ran this the 1st of December. Did anyone have questions on that? Okay. Our payroll report is next. That shows the 2 payrolls that went out. And the final report that is so close to being complete, but it's not yet complete, is the update on the HVAC, high school HVAC construction. I have finally received the last final bill from Bennington, so that'll be on the next report in next month, and I think it's almost done and paid for. So did anyone have questions, as I know you've reviewed it and looked over the report? It was a good month. Nothing surprising, and that's what we like. What do
Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you very much. Okay, we will now move on to the consent agenda. The minutes of November 13th, the regular session, and the December 4th work session. Financial report is presented. We have hires, the audit report, and we have policies. We reviewed these policies at our work session, and I have heard nothing from any of the board members about any concerns after we did this. They were put on the consent agenda to make it a lot easier and quicker for us. So, do I hear a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
It's been moved by Jeremy. Do I hear a second? It's been moved by Jeremy and seconded by Maribel to accept the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor? Motion carries. On our old business, we have two of the policies that we are still reviewing or looking at. EFA, the local wellness policy. It is a complex policy and it affects a lot of our staff members. We would like to have staff input. We want to keep things transparent. Therefore, I'd like you to move forward with that, Ryan, and have a staff group look at that. The same with the AR policy, the family leave AR policy. We would like to have that also reviewed by our staff members. This will, and then give us a report because this impacts all of you and it impacts us. We'd like to have your input on that. Under new business, the High School Success Act annual report.
Perfect. And so the first one, the High School Success Act, and work with Mr. Jackman and Mrs. Rideau on the High School Success Act. What we have to do every year, we have to present kind of the narrative responses and the budget to it. And so this is what it is. And so there are 3 goals as part of our High School Success Act. And every goal, there's an initial goal and then kind of a growing goal. And I'm happy to report, and like I said, with Mr. Jackman's help, is that we met all of our goals, our initial goal, and we're working on our secondary goal. And so it's like 85% of all seniors will complete at least one college/trade school application. You know, that's 85%. We met that. We're moving on to 90%. The next one, 9th graders on track at 90%. We've met that. Now we're working on that 95%. And then the goal 3, introduce CT courses to students in middle school. And so we're working on that. And so kind of where we're at with the program, as you can kind of see in the budget, we're actually continuing what we started last year with our programs and staff with that. And so you'll see that in our budget for High School Success Act, because we're continuing basically what we were kind of doing last year. So we're on the right track. So any comments or questions on that?
Comments, questions? Hearing none, we'll move on to the Early Learning Literacy Grant.
Excellent. And so the early learning, and this is something that we've been working on since July, and so it's time to submit our application to the state. And so as you'll see in our application in there that we are planning on expending those funds on what we call high dosage tutoring for dual language students, in particular Spanish, in our dual language classes. And so so we'd like to spend it on that literacy specialist for dual language, and also purchase curriculum materials to support reading for those classes. And so you'll see that in there, as that's the budget report on it. And then you guys should have the early learning, you'll see the 8 questions that we have to go through and how we are meeting early learning needs as far as even using our assessment system with MAP and things like that. But, so that is the budget plus the narrative on why we spend the money and the things that we do currently to support our early learners. And 25% has to have matching funds for 25%. We have kind of braided with general and Title 1A in that as well. And so that is our budget for early learning and the why around it. Any questions or comments with our early learning grant?
Questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, we'll move on to the superintendent search firm. This is an action item. I would like to say that on the 4th Monday, a week ago, the board interviewed 2 search firms, superintendent search firms, McPherson Jacobson and OSBA. We did it virtually. They presented their proposals. It was probably a 10 to 15 minute presentation, and then we asked questions. We had the opportunity to. We've all had the opportunity to consider what we heard and our thoughts. I would like to move forward. Do I hear a motion on which firm we would like to have help us in our superintendent search?
I'll motion that we move forward with hiring McPherson Jacobson LLC to conduct our superintendent search.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Dustin and seconded by Jeremy to have McPherson Jacobson, to select McPherson Jacobson as our superintendent search group. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries. Megan, can you let McPherson Jacobson know that we have selected them, and also let OSBA know that they were not selected. Okay, item 11, board report. Let's see, I would like to say that it's been a pretty active month. I did attend the part of the Calhoun Classic. It was very good. I was excited to see so many female wrestlers, I will be honest. I think that's a really great thing. I do have a thing about martial arts, women in martial arts, and you know, women doing this kind of thing. It's a great thing for self-esteem, etc. Any other reports from anyone? Okay.
Go ahead, we have a thing.
I would just like to say it was really refreshing having a superintendent get the school district involved in the nightlife parade, and our ability to be a part of that for the first year in the 5 years that I've worked in this district. So I'd just like to say thank you for that, and thank you to our community, school community, for getting behind that and enjoying it. The comments and the activities that I saw from the kids who saw that, it went a long way, and it made some great memories. So I just like to say thank you for that.
It looked great.
It was a lot of fun, I'll tell you. It was, and I love seeing everybody out there. I mean, it was, I guess I've always been on like one place of the parade, gathering candy or getting my kids not to run in the middle of the road. But to see how many people were there, and it was just a lot of fun. And I mean, the rain just stopped perfectly, and it was great. And I mean, everybody from the PD down there directing, it was really cool. And having a bus there, just loved it. They're like, yeah. So I would invite, like, I mean, we plan on continuing this and making it a tradition, the
That's
board
great.
there as well. So.
Okay. I understand the bus was beautifully decorated.
Yes. And that was our bus, our transportation department. They spent all of Saturday, Friday and Saturday doing that. It was really fun. And the kids. There were little Oompa Loompas on there with the actual kids' faces on there. And it was hard to see at night, but it was super fun. So.
I would like to remind the board, if there are no other comments, I would like to remind the board that we do have a work session scheduled on December 13th at 6 o'clock. And that, if it works out, and I believe it should because these search firms knew what our proposed schedule has been, we should be able to meet with McPherson, Jacobson, their representatives in person to discuss how we're going to move forward. The only other thing I would like to say is that I appreciate everything that all of you have done this year. I mean, we're coming up on Christmas, and it'll soon be the end of the month and a new year. So there will be no executive session this evening. So unless there's anything else from any of the board members, any questions? We will now adjourn this meeting.
Wasn't 41 minutes. Do we have to fill this out and have it filled out for